Alright, and welcome to my just a demonstration of the game that I have to deliver. It's currently 5:09, and I'm just going to deliver what I have. So I have only one enemy. I have two levels, and because I don't have um, terrain um, map, not terrain mapping, the normal mapping, they're both on flat terrain. But again, it's 5:09. You're gonna pull them at any minute. So I'm gonna deliver what I have. So we have the fully player-controlled tank. The AI has it's rudimentary AI. It's just a simple finite state machine. They have two states. They'll circle around the player, and they will then, after a randomized amount of time, fire at the player. There are two modes of fire for the player. There's this light fire, which takes a bunch of hits to kill the enemies, and then this heavy fire, which takes some time to recharge. As you can see, there's a little HUD icon that indicates whether or not you're ready to fire again with the heavy fire, and then we move on to the next level. There was a comment earlier in one of your grading checklists that talked about game object lifecycle. As you might have seen between these two levels, bullets were flying, game objects were active, and then the scene was shut down with them still active, and the scene changed successfully. So Range doesn't have any glaring problems as far as that's concerned. Come on. And then with this horse gone, we get our little victory screen. And when this life bar is depleted at the end, which will be in about 10 to 12 seconds, I would guess, based on just the timing. Oh yeah, here we go. When all of this is gone, the level will restart. When the player is out of lives, we'll be greeted with a losing screen. So yeah, definitely was behind on where I wanted my game to be. By week, I basically only got up to Sprint 7, which was skyboxes, and merging terrain, which I didn't really get to. I didn't get to the lighting, or the instancing, or there's a lot of features up here that I also didn't get to. Really, just the mini map didn't get to, and I didn't implement as much of the AI, more than like the simple two-state AI, or make more than a plain level, which is unfortunate, and I'm reasonably upset about. But let's see. Did have multiple levels. They weren't functionally different. They did exist though. Multiple enemy types. There was one. Um, they did have player awareness. One of the things I did spend some time on tonight in the wee hours. I was using ATAN 2 to get the horses to look at the player. I changed that to just the cross product. So there's a little victory. We got rid of some unnecessary math, but player controlled tank, yes. Aiming and firing, independent movement. Interesting gameplay, I would say probably not. Aesthetics definitely took a secondary role. It would definitely need some more work to be an actual part of my portfolio. And the biggest thing, again, I will be writing up that report and getting it to you by 6 o'clock this morning, 6:30. The biggest thing that I would say that I reworked was, I mean, the most surface level thing would be the way that the user interacts with the asset manager. So I really wanted it to be simplified with how a user has to load their resources, how they can access their resources, how they can how I can add default values to make an experience easier for a user. And I think that really manifested itself here with the image manager. I feel like I may have talked about this. I don't last final for 374. I don't really have any sense of time right now. But like just simply while I was loading up all of my images, I was like, a lot of my images use the whole texture. They don't need a specified to hold all this information. I just want to use the whole thing. So just by having a default rect and letting the user just do this, it took a lot of stress off of the off of what the user had to type, and just allowing those defaults are really easy. And then that applied to a lot of other things. I don't even know if I could pull any out right now, but like when we're setting up the terrain, those are shaders. It's shaders again. There we go. I believe I hope I don't look like a fool with this. Oh no, I do. Um, you probably had all these flat plane things in here, so it wouldn't be on me. But yeah, reworking that was definitely helpful. I talked about it in 374, but I found a lot of bug fixes with the game object life cycle. Um, there would be a lot of breaks um, switching between scenes, and so designing the game and setting up just little bits that I had really helped with that. I will do my best to compile a better list in the final report. But that's the game that I have. You can play it. It's WASD and the arrow keys to move through that, space to shoot, and left shift to switch between cameras. So yeah, and that's that video.